Hello, and welcome to Coffee and Tea with AARP Connecticut. My name is Byron Peterson, AARP Connecticut volunteer with the Fraud Watch Network. This is a bi-weekly conversation on issues and ideas that are of interest to the 50-plus population. I would like to introduce to you my guest for today's show, Lara Stauning, staff attorney for the Connecticut Department of Aging and Disability Resources, and one of the co-chairs for the Coalition for Elder Justice in Connecticut, and Barbara Munck, AARP Connecticut volunteer, serving with me on the Fraud Watch Network. Thank you both for joining me today for this conversation on this very important topic that is impacting everyone of any age and any stage of life.
Thank you, Byron, for having me as a guest.
Byron, it is a pleasure as always to be on the team with you and share our work today with our coffee and tea audience.
Well, today we want to talk about the focus of AARP Connecticut to support professionals, educators, consumers, and their families in fraud prevention and education. We have a national fraud prevention program that is available online, on the ground, and through many people providing resources to those in their communities across the country. Connecticut volunteers have embraced this priority for AARP with a team of over 55 volunteers collaborating with our elder justice colleagues around the state, regionally, and nationwide to stay up to date on the newest trends criminals are using and gaps in resources for consumers and professionals in fending off these predators. AARP has had the privilege of being a founding member of what we call the Coalition of Elder Justice in Connecticut. A great deal of collaborations were cultivated through this effort with so many of our organizations and agencies that make up this coalition. Lara, can you give us a little background on the Coalition for Elder Justice in Connecticut?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The Coalition for Elder Justice in Connecticut was established in 2013 by what was then known as the State Department on Aging. And this was done to lead and convene public and private stakeholders addressing elder justice issues in Connecticut. The governor at the time recognized the coalition and authorized active participation by various state agencies and departments to collaborate and protect elders from multiple forms of elder abuse, as illustrated through his Executive Order 42 to be specific. The mission of the coalition is to bring together and leverage a multidisciplinary statewide group of public and private stakeholders to prevent elder abuse and protect the rights, independence, security, and well-being of vulnerable elders, but also to their families. AARP was a founding member serving on the steering committee as well as the coalition.
Well, Lara, what are some of the things that the coalition offers?
Well, the coalition has hosted annual seminars and coordinating council sessions, and our partners have increased twofold. We have a number of working groups that convene on issues such as financial exploitation, bank and faith-based training, law enforcement training, consumer and professional training, and engagements in promoting self-directed action, as we see in your AARP Fraud Watch Network volunteer team. We established an outstanding steering committee that drives our work each year, made up of individuals representing state agencies, healthcare organizations, universities, diverse communities, law enforcement, aging services providers, and our consumer voice from AARP Connecticut.
Well, Barbara, what are some of the things that AARP offers to the coalition and the public?
Well, Byron, AARP Connecticut has helped to plan training, community events, conferences, and specifically the annual Connecticut Elder Justice Coalition Symposium that takes place in Connecticut, but has been opened up to people from across the country based on its popularity and because continuing education credits are offered. We also have a wealth of resources that provide our community collaborators with information on how to get support and help in navigating next steps if you have been victimized or someone you know.
Well, what type of resources are available?
Well, we have the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. This offers support from fraud specialists who can provide guidance on what to do next. We also have a new program to offer support to people impacted by scam or fraud. These are virtual sessions that are facilitated by trained fraud volunteers and help a person take an important step towards emotional recovery. Also, the website www.aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network is filled with an enormous amount of information and materials, like tip sheets on freezing your credit to our Watchdog Alert Handbook, filled with tips, tools, and red flags on a variety of fraud types. We offer our in-person sessions in the community at libraries, civic groups, educational institutions, conferences, and senior centers, and sometimes bring our coalition collaborators with us. But they are usually calling us to come with them when invited. It's a community of educators and advocates working together. Our materials are available online and in person, so there is no wrong door to get your information.
Well, Barbara, are there ways for community organizations, universities, and other agencies to easily access conversations that they can view maybe on demand?
Sure. We offer a monthly program called Fighting Fraud with AARP Connecticut that we started in January of this year, stocked with content. Go to our AARP Connecticut YouTube channel to subscribe to the Fighting Fraud with AARP Connecticut playlist. You will get all the shows from January until now, with more coming. They typically run from 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the topic and our guests. It's great to be able to play for your students or during an event, or to get people started on learning how to protect themselves through prevention strategies. Many of our guests are from the coalition, along with my volunteer peers from our Connecticut Fraud Watch Network program. And I'm looking forward to seeing you, Byron, on our next one, the end of this month, on government imposter scams.
Barbara, me too. These shows each month are a great resource to those who want to learn more. Lara, how has AARP offered support to the coalition in helping to build education through collaboration?
Well, Byron, we couldn't do what we do on this topic if it weren't for you and the whole AARP Connecticut Fraud Watch Network team. I have had the pleasure of working with Erica Michalowski, who is your staff partner in crime fighting, as you both say. She helps connect us to issue experts and, more importantly, the very people who need support and information. She also serves on our steering committee representing AARP Connecticut, keeping our coalition up to date on research, trends, and finding issue experts from other states working with AARP on consumer fraud and protection issues. Each year, the coalition holds an annual symposium, and it's going to again take place virtually. And this year, on Tuesday, October 18th, from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's run entirely 100% by AARP Connecticut volunteers. Now, the AARP Connecticut volunteers also supported our symposium in 2020 and 2021. Our program panelists and keynotes will be speaking to a nationwide audience made up of many professionals representing nursing, social work, law enforcement, prosecutors, advocates, educators, consumers, and a lot more. This event is our way each year to share a theme, conversation, or issue that's impacting our worlds.
Well, can you tell us a little more of what we can expect?
Well, thanks to AARP Connecticut, we will have a nationwide audience that's going to allow us to have this unique collaboration between the Coalition for Elder Justice in Connecticut, AARP Connecticut, and the community. We will explore key areas of concern to anyone with a professional or personal interest in elder justice, anywhere from battling ageism and victimization by scammers to foster better integration with socially isolated individuals in our communities. But rather than focus exclusively on the senior population, speakers will take a multi-generational perspective, examining how younger people, too, are targets of fraud and become socially isolated to the detriment of their own health, for example. The discussion will also zero in on disparities in adoption of and comfort with technology among populations and how digital tools and technologies can be made more accessible to all. For consumers, the symposium offers an opportunity to engage with thought leaders on these issues and to share their own perspectives. And for professionals, it offers an opportunity to earn professional development credits and gain insights from our AARP issue experts and coalition members on trending and global developments in our 4 key areas, which are ageism and exploitation, social integration impact on health equity, successful digital inclusion models, and consumer insights driving innovation.
Well, we're so proud to help organize this again. Barbara, I know you are aware of the behind the scenes on this event. Can you share some information on who will be our speakers and how they can obtain professional credits?
Absolutely, Byron. The title of the symposium is Elder Justice, Where We Stand on Issues from Ageism to Digital Inclusion. The National Association of Social Workers, the Connecticut chapter, approved this event for 1.5 continuing education units for Connecticut social work, licensed professional counselors, licensed marriage and family therapists, and psychologist licensure renewal. It also counts toward cultural competence licensure requirements. State chapters recognizing chapter approval for continuing education may also accept this, and usually do, but we encourage you to check with your state NASW Continuing Education Board. Then for nursing, the Connecticut Nurses Association has approved this activity for 1.5 contact hours, which is applicable nationwide. For both organizations, registration is required, and an evaluation specific to each profession is required back after the event to Erica at our office, who will verify attendance and issue certificates as appropriate. Our speaking program consists of a number of people that we are so proud to have. Maybe Lara and I can both share who is part of it, since it's half AARP and half Connecticut Department of Aging and Disability Services, where she works.
Great idea, Barbara. The program opens with remarks from Commissioner Porter. Then you'll hear from me and my co-chair, Mairead Painter, who is the Connecticut State Long-Term Care Ombudsman. Then we are going to turn the program over to Dr. Lauren Tucker, who's the assistant professor and area coordinator for the graduate program in assistive technology at Southern Connecticut State University.
Dr. Tucker is a great moderator who will help keep our keynote and panel discussion on time and on topic, as we will take questions from the audience and find our own community through the chat feature. Dr. Tucker will be introducing from our AARP world Kathy Stokes, Director of Fraud Prevention Programs from the AARP National Office, followed by Dr. Nicholas Nicholson, researcher and faculty member from Quinnipiac University School of Nursing. But he's also an AARP National Consultant on the AARP Social Integration Program. Our last guest before the panel discussion will be Michael Phillips, who is Director of Technology Strategy and Partnerships with our National AARP Office and works collaboratively with our AARP International Office to have a pulse on the global landscape. Our panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Tucker with the help of AARP State Director Nora Duncan and Mairead Painter, Coalition Co-Chair.
So Byron, you can see that we have a great collaboration going for this event, as we do every year, with AARP Connecticut and your amazing team.
Lara and Barbara, thank you for that great overview of what to expect. If someone wants to register for this event, how will they do that, Barbara?
It's quite easy, Byron. They can go to www.aarp.org/CT events and look for October 18, 2022 session titled Elder Justice, Where We Stand on Issues from Ageism to Digital Inclusion. If you have any trouble finding it, you can email us at ct@aarp.org.
Thank you, Barbara. Now, Lara, how do people get involved with the Coalition for Elder Justice in Connecticut? Is there a website or newsletter that can help them get started?
Yes, Byron, there is. So if you go to www.elderjusticect.org, the website offers a comprehensive look at protecting rights and preventing abuse. There are sections for the community, professionals, and organizations that are self-directed, but we also feature news events happening each month from coalition members. AARP always has events on topics related to elder justice, like the one held on November 15th on protecting veterans and their families. And the Holiday Scams Telephone Town Hall I just learned about, that is happening on Tuesday, November 22nd. We also feature trainings and events right in the community from our 5 area agencies on aging, state agencies and organizations, and many others to keep you up to date on the latest trainings and trends. There's a form at the bottom of the website homepage that allows you to sign up for emails and to receive the coalition newsletter. We love to promote the work of our coalition members on elder justice and fraud prevention for consumers of all ages. We've even established a Connecticut-based elder justice hotline. This is supported by our Connecticut Attorney General's office. The number of that hotline is 860-808-5555. It's a complement locally to our AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline. The attorneys who manage that line offer AARP resources along with other resources from our coalition to those who call in.
Well, thank you, Lara, and thank you, Barbara, for joining me today for this edition of Coffee and Tea with AARP Connecticut.
Byron, it has been a pleasure joining you this morning.
And thank you both for having me. I'm looking forward to the symposium event next week.
Yes. Be sure to sign up for the symposium next Tuesday and join us for more events on this topic by going to www.aarp.org/CT events. To learn more about the AARP Fraud Watch Network program, go to www.aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. If you've been victimized or unsure of what to do, you can call the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. Again, that number is 877-908-3360. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.